What's going on? This is Mr. Tony's Hip Hop School. What's going on? It's been a while. A lot of just me trying to make some moves. Then the COVID, you know, I'm a black guy. You know what I mean? We lose focus sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But I'm back. Fuck it. But don't forget to like and subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Ain't nothing changed, baby. But wanted to get into some old school hip hop talk. You know, I don't do hip hop after 2004. I might creep into 2005, 2006, but that's as far as it goes. Because I can't do hip hop after 2000, pretty much after 2004. But there's been a few that came out. There's a few that came out, I'm like, oh, all right, I kind of like that. And then you still had like people like Talib Kweli and Mos Def. They still was making shit here and there. So, but for the most part, 2004 and before, that's what I deal with. So if you like all that new shit, peace. But wanted to go back into the greatest hip hop artist of all time. It's actually it's a good and bad to this. Now, I never really was a big Jay-Z guy. But he had a lot of songs that I did like. There's a lot of songs I didn't like, and a lot of songs I did like. And I've come to the conclusion that I truly believe he's the greatest of all time. Because, like I said in another video, he is very versatile. He could do all kinds of different hip hop. He's even mixed rock into his music. He has a long catalog. You know what I mean? He could do street music. He could do dance music. He could do whatever. You know, he learned under Jaz-O and Big Daddy Kane. Big Daddy Kane is one of my favorite of all time. He's one of my favorite of all time. He's on my all-time list. He's on there. So, he represented, I'm talking about Jay-Z now. He represented Brooklyn well, New York well. He's definitely a New York rapper. I never really, I'm not into men or nothing, but he do got a swag about him, which I like in a rapper. Because a rapper, you gotta be confident. You gotta be a dude that you know you the best. You can out rap anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it's all about. At least in my era, that's what it was all about. So he got all the qualities, man. He's the greatest of all time. I think if Biggie lived longer, then it would probably be Biggie. I mean, it's a lot, man. It's really hard to say who the greatest is. But if somebody was to, like, get ready to shoot me and say who the fuck the greatest of all time, I'm gonna have to say Jay-Z, much as I hate to say it, because I was always a Nas guy. I was way more Nas than Jay-Z guy. But you gotta just, like, his body of work, man. I mean, he covers everything in hip hop. And he did it for a long time. He came out in 96. He did it for a long time. I mean, if he came out with an album right now, he still would be the shit. So, I mean, I gotta say is Jay-Z. Now, on the flip side of this shit, he might be getting ready to get locked the fuck up. He might be getting ready to get jammed up. You know what I mean? And I really don't, the things about him I don't like, especially after the early 2000s, he started getting too involved with the Illuminati shit, that Mason shit. You know, he started to wear the shirts, do as I wit, do, what's it called? Basically do what you want, but some satanic shit. Then he's with that woman that, I forgot her name. There's a picture of her with this woman that does like that cult shit where they be eating fucking dead bodies and shit like that, eating bodies and stuff like that. He was with her. You know, that just made his stock go down for me. But I never really was like a big Jay-Z dude. But before I started finding out like him being down with the Illuminati and all that shit, there was a time I was really starting to peak up and starting to like him. I was like, yeah, Jay-Z, all right, man. And then I remember he had the Dynasty album, and I listened to that. I can listen to the whole thing. You know, and I mean, he was one of them dudes like, because I used to look at him the same way as Biggie. Like, I'm like, yo, if these niggas didn't have no money, they wouldn't get no women. You know, like Biggie would be braggadocious about him being with women and stuff, but I'm looking at him like, yo, calm down with that shit. But, you know, the boy could rap, man. I mean, Jay-Z could rap. Jay-Z could spit, man. But it's just that now he's all into the, you know, this and this and this. All that 666 satanic bullshit. I can't fuck with him, man. But from a hip hop perspective, from a hip hop standpoint, I gotta give it to him. You know, I really don't like to say that, but like I said, if Biggie, let's say if Biggie did 4 more albums. Even if he did 4 more albums, he died in 97. So if he'd have died in 2001, I would probably give it to Biggie. I was just listening to Biggie the other day, and all I was doing was like this. Like just before I got out the car, I was like, yo, man, this motherfucker was great. Biggie was great. You know, and honestly, I had to take Biggie over Tupac. I like Tupac better because Tupac had more to talk about. Tupac was more, first of all, Tupac was revolutionary, number one. Number two, he knew he would speak out against what was really going on. He was like, he could have been a political figure. That's what I liked about him. Where Biggie was just, you know, straight up, he was just telling stories in his rap. You know what I mean? Talking about street shit, talking about, he had some party shit that Puffy, I'm sure, made him do to sell records. You know, so, but man, all in all, if you just strictly talking about rap music, if Biggie lived longer, I would take Biggie over Pac. And I wasn't a big Biggie fan because he used to rap, because I just looked at him as this big ugly nigga lying and shit. That's how I looked at Biggie. When I was younger, when Biggie was living, but when I listened to all his songs, Biggie and Jay-Z kind of similar for me. It's crazy too. I know some people are like, damn, you didn't like Biggie? I'm not saying I like, it's a lot of songs I did like though. It's more songs that I liked than that I thought I liked. Like he actually had a good 7 or 8 songs I liked. Might be more than that. It's crazy. Because I'm talking about before his albums came out. He had a few songs before his albums came out. Party and Bullshit. He had like a good 3. He had a good 3 joints that I liked in 94. Because he was out in 94. He came out in 94. But he didn't have no album. I think he had some singles. But I take I take Biggie over Tupac. But I like Tupac for his political music. And he had music that was talking about shit. You know what I'm saying? So from a conscious standpoint, I take Tupac. But just from a straight, raw, hip-hop, East Coast shit, I'm taking Biggie. I ain't gonna lie. Biggie, like, I was listening to him the other day. I listened to about 8 songs. Then he had, what's the name, Junior Mafia. And then Lil' Kim. Because I know he wrote a lot of Lil' Kim shit. You can hear it. When she rapping, you can hear it. You can hear it's Biggie. Just in female form. But that's, I mean, yeah. Biggie, nigga. But all in all, I'm gonna give it to Jay-Z. But it's a lot of other people that really should get mentioned that never get mentioned. Like Melly Mel. Melly Mel, in a lot of people's opinion, is the greatest rapper of all time. And I'm not gonna look at it. If a person said that to me, Melly Mel is the greatest of all time, I'm not gonna give him no funny look. I'm gonna be like, yeah, that's a good one. You know what I'm saying? Because I listened to all his stuff. When he was with Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5, and then on his own. You know, but people be sleeping on these dudes, man. Like, these motherfuckers was like changing the game. They really made people up their game. You know what I'm saying? It ain't even about changing the game. Like, sometimes you have a rapper that come out, and then the people that come out after him or her, they got to up their game because this motherfucker was so different, you know? So, but I know I'm not making any great points right now. I just got up here and just said, you know what, I'm going to do a video. But in future videos to come, I'm going to make sure that I have my PowerPoints available. And, you know, see, I'm a person too. I don't go by that album sales shit. I don't do none of that shit. Look, fucking MC Hammer sold millions of albums. That one year, 1990, when he did Too Legit to Quit and Can't Touch This and all that shit. Like, come on, man. Like, that album sell don't mean shit. Nas's album didn't sell that well in '94, but that shit is like one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time. So I don't go by that. I don't go by album sales. You know, so I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, it sold 20 million albums. Who cares about that shit? Because the real hip hop is not gonna sell that well anyway. Because the real hip hop is more like the streets is gonna give it props. You know what I mean? If the streets is giving it props, then it was great. You know, album sales is for like them, like white people, really white media. That's what that's for. But for the hood and real motherfucking hip hop fans, that shit don't mean nothing. Cause look at Nas's album. Look at Nas Illmatic. That joint ain't sell a lot in the beginning. But sure enough, that's one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time. And it's definitely on my list. As much as I played that, I listened to that whole album millions of times. But anyway, Jay-Z, in my opinion, is the greatest of all time. Biggie's up there too. I gotta give it to him. And then we'll go over some more possible number ones that should be on a lot of people's lists. And then we'll do some unsung rappers that never get any kind of anything when people mention greatest of all time. But don't forget to like and subscribe, share. Thank you for watching.